So what are you free?
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, in association with MTK Global. I'm here in Manchester ahead of Fury versus NORAD. With me I've got promoter Mick Hennessy. How are you, sir?
Very good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Not a problem at all. A nice little train journey down this morning from Edinburgh, so it was nice, enjoyable. Press conference just had there for Hughie Fury versus Chris NORAD. Hughie returns after the injury, and obviously it's well documented the eye injury out in Bulgaria against Pulev. What's your thoughts on Hughie versus NORAD going on Saturday night?
I think it's well documented that Hughie was hampered from the first bell basically with that eye and the problems in training and everything else, and we've took the time needed to get that right, and he's had all different types of treatment, and hopefully the eye is fully repaired and we won't have to go down that route no more. But that played heavily on Hughie's performance, the Pulev fight, because one, going into the fight he knew there was potential for it opening, and secondly, when it did open so early, he couldn't, one thing that probably wasn't documented was he could only see out of one eye for the rest of the fight. And
at the second round, wasn't it?
Yeah. And as for a young 24-year-old going 12 rounds with Pulev with one eye, I mean, you got to give it to Hughie. He's a hard fighter, hardened fighter. There's no quitting him. He doesn't give up. He'll go through it to get to it. And I'm very proud that he done what he done with Pulev, because I know how hampered he was with his vision. But I honestly believe with two eyes and everything right that night with Pulev, I feel like he would have done a job on him. You see, I think it was 8-9, something like that, 7, 8, 9. You see Hughie hurt Pulev a couple of times, and I really do believe that he would have, in normal circumstances, he would have come away, he would have won that fight in style, and he would have been fighting for the heavyweight title again. So for this fight, we've took all that time out. Mm-hmm. He's back there. We've come back with someone who is an unknown quantity, really. We all know that. But he's 17-0. He's roughly 235 pounds. He's 6'4". He's a big lump heavyweight, in shape. Just fought recently. This is his Rocky moment. He's going to come and try and take it. So Hughie's got to be, he's got to be 100%. Can't take him lightly. He can't think that he's not boxing in the same class as him. He's got to go out there and he's got to treat this like a world title fight, because he's got a young, hungry fighter who, well, not so young, but he's been around. Yeah, he's hungry. He's been around a long time now, and he hasn't fought regular for his 17 fights. But that means he's been in boxing and he's been in gyms for a hell of a long time. So, to me, this is it's an old-fashioned quality international 10-rounder.
The fans in for a treat then?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think Hughie's in a much better place now as well. If you look at him, look at the shape he's in. Peter's been making adjustments. They've been doing different stuff. Peter got Hughie working with Kerry Kays as well, and I think we're going to see something special from Hughie. I'm really excited to see his performance on Saturday night.
You touched on it a little bit there. You said if it wasn't for the eye injury, you believe Hughie would have won out in Bulgaria against Pulev. As a promoter, can you see a rematch happening then?
I can definitely see a rematch at some point, because although there was a lot of complications with that promotion and it was hard work, it was incredible hard work, but we come out with it. We actually get on with the team that was behind it, John Wirt and Ivalo Gotsev, myself and Peter. We're on good terms and we're good friends with them. So I can see, when the time's right and the fight makes sense, I can see that happening again. Yeah.
All going well for Hughie on Saturday night. He's tasted that he's been at world level against Pulev and Joseph Parker and whatnot. But obviously, I've asked this a million times. There's three at the top. There's Hughie's cousin Tyson, there's Wilder, and then there's Joshua. But at the bottom there's the Dillian Whites, the Joseph Parkers, your Povetkins and whatnot. Maybe even Usyk now. He's moved up to heavyweight. Where do you believe Hughie sits? Is he above the Joyce, the Gormans and the Dubois in the domestic scene?
Yeah, without showing any disrespect at all, Hughie is definitely, he's proved that they're all great quality fighters. They're all tremendous prospects, and there's going to be some great battles with them coming up. But they haven't boxed at the level Hughie's boxed at. They haven't been in with Joseph Parker at 23. They haven't fought Pulev in a final eliminator. you know, that there's more hurdles for them to cross to prove themselves, and I'm sure they will. They're a very, very talented bunch of fighters. But Hughie is, you know, he's just below the top tier, and you know, when the time's right, you know, we're going to spend the rest of this year building on the fights he has, getting him great terrestrial exposure, getting him out there. You know, we want the public to know him better because he's a lovely person. We want that to come across. We want a, you know, wide audience to see that. So they get behind a genuine person and a genuine fighter when he makes his next assault on a world heavyweight title, because, as I say, he's just below the top tier.
You said he's below the top tier, then I mean the heavyweight division is flying at the moment.
Yeah.
But there's not that many out there at the top tier. So who do you get Hughie for September, October, whenever he is out next? What type of fight are you after?
Well, look, there's people like Dave Allen. You know, he's got an interesting fight coming up. You know, maybe the winner of that. There's plenty of international fighters out there, really, that are around the top 10, top 15 that we would probably go for. You know, we'd love a fight like that. You know, Dave Allen performed great in his last fight. Always domestic fights like that capture the imagination. So fights like that.
It's capturing my imagination. I didn't think of Dave Allen until you just mentioned him there. So yeah, that would be a tasty fight. So when you look at the heavyweight division again, do you believe, how far is Hughie from that world title then? I mean, we spoke about Dave Allen fight, would that get a world title shot next? But so how far along the line is it? 12 months away, 18 months away, or? Well,
for me right now, talking, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, me and Peter are going to work it out fight by fight to see where he's at and adjust things. Things can change, but I would say for me right now, I would say 3 are the right fights, building him, because, as I say, there's been a lot of changes made in camp. Peter's making changes in the gym, and he needs that time to adjust till the end of the year. So we're just going to keep building his opponents. He's not going to be fighting. I'm sure they're probably, like you say, the heavyweight contenders are thin on the ground, like top world class ones. So I'm sure there's going to be offers come out of the woodwork. But you know, we're not going to make a move on a big fight for the rest, like a world title fight for the rest of this year. What it's going to be is going to be building better level fighters into it, so that next time he gets to fight for the world title, he don't just win it, he wins it in style and he holds on to it.
Before I talk about the rest of the card, I just want to say on the heavyweight division, just 2 more questions. Obviously you promote a heavyweight in Hughie Fury, so you must pay attention to the heavyweight division. Did you see Wilder's fight against Brazil at the weekend? What do you make of his knockout?
Phenomenal. You know, he's like, you know, if you sit in front of him, you're going to get sparked. You know, it takes.
I'm too fast. You won't catch me.
Yeah, he'll probably roll under his shots.
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is. You've got to be a quality boxer to live with him, haven't you? You really have. Someone like him and Joshua. Well, what a fight. For me, that one right there is whoever connects first.
That's what I was going to say. I think somebody asked me that this morning, actually, on my Instagram story. I asked the question and somebody said AJ of Wilder. I said whichever one lands the right hand.
Oh well, but what a fight! You know, who's going to go for it first? Who's going to pull the trigger? Brilliant fight.
Okay, you mentioned Joshua there. He's got a fight next weekend, I believe. Is it? Yes, next weekend, next Saturday, against Andy Ruiz. Obviously, the situation with Miller and all that's been well documented and well discussed and whatnot, but Andy Ruiz as a fighter, as a heavyweight, what's your thoughts on him against Joshua?
I think he's a good contender. He's the way he fights. You know, some people look at his build and think he's because he's not carved out of stone the way Anthony Joshua is, but he can fight. And you know, in some cases, if he's prepared properly, it's a better fight than the Jarrell Miller fight. So I think it's you know, introducing him to on American soil. Andy Ruiz is a good name, and look, he's hungry. He's gonna try and take his opportunity. So he's gonna put it all on the line. Good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, let's talk about it then. You're probably going to have the most stressful night ever on Saturday night as a promoter. You've got your son, your 19-year-old son, making his pro debut. Tell me your thoughts on Michael making his pro debut on one of your shows, and the type of fight he is, I suppose. Yeah, in a way, I'm more nervous about him because he's going to go under the public eye, under the scrutiny, and probably go out to a fairly big audience. He's not worried or getting nervous about fighting. He just wants to put on a good performance. So I feel the nerves because I want him to. I know how good he is. I want him to show his best self. I'm not worried from the point of view because the level he's been boxing at, he's been boxing the best in the world. He's been boxing elite, and they've all been, you know, this is where, you know, and amateur boxing sometimes is upside down. He's fighting brilliant fighters, and you go into places and there's like 50 people sitting there, and some of these fights that they're having are just like world-class fights. And at least in the pros, like he will, you know, he'll get the attention that fighters deserve, really, which they don't get in the amateurs. And I think because he's been boxing at that high level, starting off on the bottom rung of the pro game, I'm not worried about the fighting. I'm just worried about him putting his best foot forward.
How do you promote your son then? Are you going to keep him busy? Are you going to get him out every other month, or how is that going to work?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, we've got shows back to back with Channel 5, so we're going to keep him busy, very busy, like all our fighters now. So
I was going to say, are you involved in any of the training aspect with Michael, or?
Yeah, I've trained him since he was 11. So this fight come about very quickly, him turning pro. So I've trained him for this fight, but he's going to have, you know, he's in great hands. He's in the corner with Peter Fury's in his corner.
Oh, wow, there you go.
So he's in tremendous hands. Peter's known him since he was a baby. He's like family to him, and you know, he couldn't be in better hands.
Oh, good stuff. Well, another fighter on the bill is Savannah Marshall. I mean, she's up against a very well experienced woman. I don't know her name, so please forgive me. But Savannah, she's very experienced. She's had way more fights than Savannah. What are you expecting from Savannah on Saturday night?
Just a world-class performance. You know, this girl. She's tough if you're not a puncher, and but Savannah is a puncher. So I'm expecting a world-class performance. The difference Peter's made with her in the gym is phenomenal. I mean, as I said earlier at the press conference, for me, she's the best fighter in women's boxing worldwide, and she'll prove that over the next couple of years.
She says she's the best fighter, but there's probably somebody out there that's going to disagree with you, and that's Clarissa Shields.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
What's your thoughts on that fight then? I mean, it's the only defeat that Clarissa's got, so she's going to be well up for this fight. And if Savannah moves down to middleweight, it's an undisputed fight as well. So there's a lot of tasty reasons why to make that fight.
Oh, it's going to be the biggest fight in women's boxing ever when it happens. And right now it would be, you know, Clarissa's calling Savannah out in a very harsh way at the moment because it's in her interest to. She's ready. You know, Savannah is building into it. And when the time's right, when she's ready, I believe Savannah will beat her, and beat her in style.
Good stuff. Well, Channel 5 Saturday night, tune in. Is that what you're saying to all the fans out there?
I'm saying, yeah, tune in 7 to 9 on Spike.
Yep.
And then 9 to 11 on Channel 5. It really is. It's primetime TV, and there's quality, free to air, and some quality matches.
Good stuff. I'll look forward to it. Mick, thanks for this Rifle TV.
Oh, thanks very much for making the journey. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks very much, Mick. Thank you.
Cheers.